now that the final days of Ramadan are approaching, there's already a strange feeling hitting me inside. It's quite similar to the feeling when I see off my parents at the airport after a good vacation at home, holding my emotions and affirming myself to be strong. Strong enough to walk alone, face the challenges back again. Knowing that now I'll be talking to them over video calls, but I won't feel the same connectivity and I'll get busy into my everyday hustle. It feels like during Ramadan, Allah Azza wa Jal comes closer to me, locking all the devils behind the bars, guiding through a torch wherever I go, keeping me protected in His constant remembrance. I could really sense the contentment by the passing days, the feeling of gratitude, optimism, and hope. It feels like it increases day by day. Alhamdulillah. Well, this week I went out for dinner with my lab mates. On the way to the restaurant, I had my iftar for the first time in a mosque. Although it felt a little empowering to know even women are allowed in the mosque here, but I didn't really fall for it. My understanding is quite different. On March 18, 2005, Amina Wadood led the first female-led Jummah prayer. On that day, women took a huge step towards being more like men. But did we come closer to actually our God-given liberation? I don't think so. What we so often forget is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has honored the woman by giving her value in relation to Him, not in relation to men. But as Western feminism erases God from the scene, there's no standard left except men. As a result, Western feminist is forced to find her value in relation to a man, and in so doing, she has accepted a faulty assumption. She has accepted that man is the standard, and thus a woman can never be a full human being until she becomes equal to a man. For 1400 years, there has been a consensus of the scholars that men are to lead the prayer. As a woman, why does this even matter? The one who leads the prayer is not superior in any way. Something is not better just because a man does it. And leading prayer is not better just because it's leading. Had it been the role of woman or had it been more divine, why wouldn't the Prophet ﷺ have asked Aisha or Khadija or Fatima radiallahu anhu, the greatest woman of all time, to lead? These women were promised Jannah, and yet they never led the prayer. But now, for the first time in 1400 years, we look at man leading a prayer and we think, that's not fair. As soon as we accept that everything a man has and does is better, all that follows is a knee-jerk reaction. If men have it, we want it too. If men pray in the front rows, we assume this is better, so we want to pray in the front rows too. Somewhere along the line, we have accepted the notion that having a position of worldly leadership is some indication of one's position with God. 50 years ago, society told us that men were superior because they left the home to work in the factories. We were mothers, and yet we were told that it was women's liberation to abandon the raising of another human being in order to work on a machine. We accepted that working in a factory was superior to raising the foundation of a society, a child, just because a man did it. Then, after working, we were expected to be superhuman. The perfect mother, the perfect wife, the perfect homemaker, and have the perfect career. And while there's nothing wrong by definition with a woman having a career, we soon came to realize what we had sacrificed by blindly mimicking men. We watched as our children become strangers and soon recognized the privilege we'd given up. to the woman, Allah Azza wa Jal has given a special privilege to be a mother. The Prophet ﷺ taught us that heaven lies at the feet of mothers. But no matter what a man does, he can never be a mother. So why is that not unfair? When asked who is most deserving of a kind treatment, the Prophet ﷺ replied, "Your mother," 3 times before saying your father only once. Is that sexist? No matter what a man does, he'll never be able to have the status of a mother. And yet, even when Allah Azza wa Jal honors us with something uniquely feminine, we are too busy trying to find our worth in reference to a man, value it, or even notice. We too have accepted men as the standard, so anything uniquely feminine is by definition inferior. Being sensitive is an insult, becoming a mother a degradation. In the battle between stoic rationality considered as masculine and selfless compassion considered feminine, rationality reigns supreme. Why is that so? Growing up, you read me the ugly duckling, and for years I believed that was me. For so long, you taught me I was nothing more than a bad copy of the standard. I could not run as fast or lift as much. I didn't make the same money, and I cried too often. I grew up in a man's world where I did not belong. And yet, when I could not be him, I wanted only to please him. I put on your makeup and wore your short skirts. I gave my life, my body, my dignity for the cause of being pretty. I was a slave, but you taught me I was free. I was your object, but you swore it was success. You taught me that my purpose in life was to be on display, to attract and be beautiful for men. You had me believe that my body was created to market your cars, and you raised me to think I was an ugly duckling. But you lied. I am a swan. I'm different. It's meant to be that way. And my body, my soul was created for something more. So I'm honored. But it's not by my relationship to men. My value as a woman is not measured by the size of my waist or the number of men who like me. My worth as a human being is measured on a higher scale. And my purpose in life, despite what the fashion industry say, is something more sublime than just looking good for me. Therefore, in answering the question of where and how a woman can find empowerment, I find myself led back to the realization that true liberation and empowerment lies only in freeing oneself from all other masters, all other definitions, all other standards. So, to those who wish to liberate me, I have only one thing to say. Thanks.